This week on Hermitcraft.
Ren says, that fresh server smell. Yeah, that's right. That's what happened.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is LoyXP, and if you're new here, welcome to Season 7. We should probably explain what the heck this is.
So for episode 1, I want to try and get a really good start.
We are two Minecraft YouTubers who are not part of the Hermitcraft server, but we do watch it quite a lot. To help you watch it a lot also, we put together this weekly show recounting all the events and mishaps that occur in everybody's Hermitcraft videos. That way, if you don't have time to watch everyone, you can be less confused, and you might just find your new favourite hermit along the way.
Nice, were you waiting for Sahara to restock again?
This time, however, we're here for a special treat as the server was reset in its entirety and restarted in the Buzzy Bees update of Java Minecraft, opening up for the 7th season of Hermitcraft. This shiny new season has brought in no shiny new people, per se, but a few former members of the server have thrown themselves back into the mix, such as XB Crafted, who only streamed for a while at the start of Season 6, Etha and Vintage Beef, who have been missed since Season 5, and Hypno, who hasn't made videos from the server for even longer. And if you're interested in everyone else who's on the whitelist, we'll be going through all of them one by one in just a minute, with the exceptions of Tinfoil Chef, B-Dubs, Hypno, and Corralis, who hadn't uploaded at the time we started writing this script.
I can't remember, there were so many people, like the whole tab list was like filled with people, I could not keep count.
The Hermitcraft Season 7 world centres on a mushroom island surrounded by an ocean, encased on all sides by even more land. Over the course of the season, the Hermits plan to transform this island of mushrooms into a commercial district packed with various shops. A cowmercial district, if you like. The ocean around it has already earned the name of the Hermitlantic amongst the fans, and the splash zone circle of the shore will be peppered with the Hermit's actual bases.
Hermitcraft Season 7, Hermits at Sea.
We put the C in Season 7.
While Hermitcraft is broadly speaking a vanilla Minecraft server, the world has been modified with several data packs, introducing additional game rules and mechanics. As per usual, that includes one-player sleep, disabled Enderman griefing, shulkers dropping 2 shells, and fire spread has been turned off so the whole shoreline doesn't go up in flames. Additionally, the armor stand posing book from the previous season has made a return, though with significant updates.
I mean, to be fair, that's a position.
An interesting new spin on an old idea is the way Season 7 treats custom heads. Player heads only drop when killed by another player, and the dropped heads even remember the name of the murderer, making games of Clue very difficult. The non-vanilla mob heads drop rarely from the mobs themselves, plus the Wandering Trader now spawns offering several player heads on sale and miniature block heads that you can buy in bulk.
Just thought, man, this guy is so useless, let's give him some more stuff. So yeah, this guy sells all kinds of mini blocks. Lucky us.
There are various other quality of life packs, such as portal coordinates and AFK displays, which we won't get into details about here, but you can find a full list of everything on the Hermitcraft subreddit. Lastly, it's confirmed that, for now, the Nether is temporary. When the Nether update arrives later this year, the Hermits will reset the Nether dimension in its entirety to take advantage of new terrain generation. So this won't be a super short season or anything, the world will continue into 1.16 and potentially beyond. Also, the first death was Corralis.
Oh, Corralis died! Corralis! First death. Goodbye!
And with all that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps and see if Season 7 really is the bee's knees.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Hermitcraft Season 7. Go! Go! Stop! Stop!
After an incredibly short group meeting on the actual spawn island, the Hermits divided up into smaller groups and headed out in search of some wood to punch. Some found it sooner than others, like Joe Hills, who immediately goes diving for the nearest shipwreck and fashions his first tools out of the mast. Despite the loot chests on board providing iron for him without having to do any real digging, Joe isn't the greedy type, and the rest of the wood he gathers from the wreck gets broken up into player-sized boats for the people who get themselves killed by early game mobs, which is a surprising amount, but then this whole server has been at endgame for nearly 2 years. They've kind of forgotten what it's like without diamond armor.
Oh, Iskel's here too. Here you go, Mumbo. Oh, he can't hear me. No, he just walked through the side into the sea. Mumbo, come back.
Let him swim.
Shipwrecks seem to be a major feature of Joe's season so far, as the area he decides to settle in is also home to a sunken vessel which makes a handy starter base. His plan for the season is to set up in a large bay and tax all the sea traffic. We're already having flashbacks to Season 5, in before Cubfan fills the ocean with pigs.
I think the sea is going to call to people this season. And I will control its mouth.
The business instantly goes sideways as Ijevin unintentionally establishes a drifting station in the neutral seas. His starter house is a man-made island on the way to the Mushroom Land and on course to expand and progress, but probably not on any actual course since there's no way to steer this thing.
It's kind of just a nice little floating platform that we've got here. I have decided to build underwater this season. Now, I know you're probably thinking, like, that's pretty ambitious. I've never built underwater before, and I think it's going to be a pretty big challenge, but with conduit power, aqua affinity with good enchantments, I think we'll be fine to get started.
Still, the pirate nation of Jevin is as skilled at treasure hunting as before, and he effortlessly reaches a diamond set and an enchantment corner by the end of the episode. Unfortunately, he's not been feeling that well lately, so here's to his swift recovery. A whole other way to avoid the naval lockdown occurs to Azuma as he's putting his tree farm to work on a personal air force.
It's because I want to get bees' nests in the easiest way that I could think of that didn't involve exploring and scavenging.
Though, according to all known laws of aviation, Beezuma can't exactly fly, he can take a swift dive into all the adminning stuff that went into making the server happen. It's too bad that he forgot to actually put any of that in at first.
Oh god, please, please.
Then
no.
there's only one person to blame.
It's the weirdest looking one.
X.
It's like a bee.
We have a problem.
Yeah.
Oh no! X, what did you do? Everyone quick, bury yourself underground.
Having fixed that, Azuma settles on a shore by the jungle and begins farming beehives to reunite with his Buzzy brethren. He's not the only one. Stress Monster makes her way to a jungle biome and swims out into the center of a lake, and by the end of her episode she's planting trees with the intent of awakening the hive.
Look! It's all dripping with honey!
The bees might be drawn to her new flower crown too, since she undergoes what we can only describe as a magical girl transformation, casting off her Ice Queen personality in favor of something that won't melt in this tropical environment. It's a new outfit and a new outlook, which helps her stay positive when everything that could possibly go wrong in a ravine happens all at once. Etha makes his return to the server, and the creepers are the first to make him welcome. And he's also got a new look, although there's something weirdly familiar about it.
Nice face. Wow, look at that.
His priority is getting set up quickly, because having efficient tools makes doing what you want a whole lot easier. And despite a few setbacks along the way, the Minecraft gods smile on him once his enchanting setup is ready to go.
Fortune 3, I could not ask for much better than that.
He hints at plans to build a monstrosity, but gives no clues as to what exactly that means. Maybe wearing someone else's face will help with that.
Look at my beautiful blue eyes. So bright, golden locks. Oh, I could get used to this look.
Now, while False's player head sure is worth killing for, it functions much better with the rest of her attached. Ever helpful, she provides a more comprehensive version of the initial mining bedlam, set to the wackiest royalty-free music available.
You have no armor. You don't want to start this.
Hang on, PvP deaths give you heads right now.
Yep, that's true.
False, can I kill you?
No.
Can you kill me?
I mean...
That still doesn't land her enough resources, and False dives right back into the mines as soon as she arrives at her actual base location. Not much is revealed about her plans for it so far, except that she is clearly territorial enough to mess up any trespassers when given the opportunity.
Someone's been here. Did I put that down? Who has been here? This is mine.
While Cleo doesn't get her false head, she does score a COD one at an unreasonable exchange rate. Really, just killing Grian would have been cheaper. Her road to Armor Stand Overload starts at the lake on a shore, which, as far as the game is concerned, is still the ocean. Failed attempts at the datapack book notwithstanding.
Armor statues, because that's the Americanized version. Right, it's not that. So, now I suspect that is just a written book. X, that thing you told me to do doesn't work. What do I do now?
The plan for the season is to build a zoo, though for now it is more of a meat grinder, maintained by ghosts on top of everything.
And then I came back and the whole thing was planted. So one of the hermits has looked at my thing and went, aha, I know what will freak her out. It's correct.
But even with no custom heads to rub together, she still manages an armor stand project in the form of a rope bridge, where the role of the rope is played by the actual armor stands. It looks pretty neat if you can stop seeing it as a bunch of stick guys strung together. Before all that though, XB Crafted joined Cleo, False and Azuma as they made their first steps towards getting set up and narrowly avoided a repeat performance of the infamous professional Minecrafters moment.
That was so much fun, though.
It was hilarious, but all I can see right now is X in a hole.
Okay,
so,
ready? Yep.
I mean...
Drown him. Well done.
Got him!
Hey, no,
They also participate in the server's first unofficial minigame, which is a tower defense game where Azuma is the tower and you have to defend him from zombies so he can reset the one-player sleep data pack. XB himself is playing it casual for now, although he's among the many hermits who dig up their first diamonds while the server still feels fresh. It won't be long before everything feels a bit more broken in, or just broken, because Doc M has been playing like a madman since the season first launched, and already has the following: half an enormous house, carbon copied from the mansion he and BOO bought from Grian last season, a bunch of crop farms feeding into a farmer, and a bunch of librarians who are supplying him with all the useful tool enchantments. He's farming bees for honey, cactus for bone meal, heads from the Wandering Trader, and is probably going to have an iron farm set up by the time this video goes out. So welcome to capitalism, folks. The grind is real.
And we have a really cool plan talking about shopping and economy.
This is all part of Doc's philosophy for the season, which is to have everybody else dig up his diamonds for him. It remains to be seen whether he'll get any out of his neighbour, since he and B-dubs are already bickering like an old married couple who sleep in separate halves of the house, which, need I remind you, is literally what they do.
Oh, how nice of you, how nice of you. Very nice.
This is mine. This is mine.
No, come on.
This is mine. I found him freaking first.
Oh.
Hey.
Okay, you take him. Get owned.
No, I don't want to. It's, yeah, you.
Okay, let's do him together.
Dang it.
Ascale also takes huge strides in getting set up for the season after unintentionally committing the first murder.
Oh no!
As someone who was recently on the receiving end of the poison and punch combo, Ascale knows the pain all too well. After travelling to the jungle lake where he intends to build a giant tree base and briefly mistaking Mumbo for a new Minecraft animal...
What is that?
What is that?
What is that? That's a new animal.
It's Mumbo.
I didn't... No. What?
He puts together a to-do list and goes ham for the caves. Along the way, he manages to make golden carrots an early food source, sets up a combination skeleton and spider spawner, automates smelting, and redesigns an abandoned mineshaft into his starter base. One cow farm and an enchanting setup later, Ascale is ready for a productive start to the season.
Yep, you are correct. A diorite incinerator. Super important.
While some are having great success underground, Rendog is making the most of life on the surface, although he starts by heading immediately for both of the nearby biomes without any actual trees. Luckily for him, the mesa yields enough surface minecart chests and nearby gold that he's able to swipe a bunch of useful stuff before making for the Mushroom Island in search of steak. After spiriting away one of the mushrooms in a boat, he encounters a thunderstorm out at sea and washes up on the sandy coast of a tiny landmass he immediately names Loser Island.
I mean, let's be honest, guys. It's just me, a mushroom, and a couple of sheep on a tiny island in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Loser Island is kind of the perfect name for this place, especially considering the sunburn makes me look like a giant freaking tomato.
The heat is already affecting his judgment because he buries the first diamond he found and starts digging straight down, although he does find more diamonds pretty much immediately, so he can't really fault the results. Capping off the island with a starter house and naming the mushroom Pamela, at least he's not gone full Tom Hanks on us quite yet.
I think we've done pretty darn well for ourselves in this first episode.
For a true exercise in futility, let us look at Zedaf. And no, that is not just us being mean, the pointlessness here is very much intentional. You see, having commandeered a whole mountain for his enterprise, Zed chose not to take advantage of the glorious terrain around it, and instead hollows out all the insides and stuffs it with every silly contraption imaginable.
We are going to be living in the mountain because that just feels like a cool place to live.
For an example of just how silly, Zed puts together a furnace that only smelts things as long as you keep jumping on the attached pressure plate.
Me? I'm full of energy. I've got lots. Why not use me to be able to cook things?
We haven't done the calculations to back this up, but we suspect regardless of what he's cooking, he'll expend more saturation jumping than he'll gain from eating it. So I guess that's one way of burning calories. The other way would be throwing food directly into lava. Coincidentally on purpose, Zedaf's base shares a border with the chunks claimed by Impulse SV and Tango, thus forming the Zit Triangle, or as we're going to refer to it, the Tri-Derp area. It's funny that despite spending half an episode looking far and wide for a nice spot with camera in hand, Tango still ended up side by side with his buddies. Though a mission to secure a settlement of locals with Impulse sparks his interest in the villager kind, for now Tango just stops at a cozy starter house level, for once building freehand with materials not imported from the fiery pits of the Nether. He also steals Vintage Beef's hay.
This is it, guys. I think I just found my home. This abandoned village.
This has got to be someone's base. This has got to be someone's base. There's no way they put that there. And more wheat. We'll take wheat.
Luckily, Beef is by now no stranger to having his stuff stolen after diving down to find a shipwrecked treasure, drowning on his way back out, and having his body looted by Etha.
Oh man, did you get my stuff?
And what goes around comes around. His starter base is an abandoned village, which he decides to move into and restore to its fictional former glory. After digging up his first diamonds and being fished by Etha to add insult to injury, Vintage Beef heads off to the community mushroom island to bring back new beef for food and leather.
Right in there. There you go, pal.
He takes a brief dip into the Nether, discovering his portal leads to a convenient fortress, but is quick to retreat from the Wither skeletons, returning to the overworld and the much more peaceful activity of recruiting a dog and a parrot. So maybe his first tourist attraction will be a petting zoo. Drowning in shipwrecks is among the leading cause of early hermit deaths, the others being trident-wielding Murloc wannabes, and Impulse SV encounters both hazards on his road to getting geared up. He tracks down the buried treasure and finds Tango sitting in a boat, contemplating life. After a brief villager hiding session, Impulse spends some time gathering resources off-camera, wraps up the episode with an entity-cramming cow farm, and full diamond armor.
Boom. We have full diamond gear. Day 1, episode 1. Excellent. What a good start. We are looking snazzy.
Cub fans' own equipment is a bit more humble.
There we go. Blue cap. How do I look?
Okay, he does get a proper armor set later.
I look like I can't see out of it. Fantastic.
Having taken to the mines and fought off not one but several dead toddlers, Cub apparently decides to establish dominance among the dead. The grave of choice is a pyramid, and a pretty fancy one, even if it's just a studio.
That's really all this is, but yeah, just got a little pyramid structure. We do have the campfire, got our bed here, we got some chests, which I've started to try and organize. That's basically all we got right now.
But for an even weirder apartment, here's the wizard equivalent of a trailer home.
I'm saying it right now, this is Larry the Snail, and I'm loving it.
Lots of people were rightfully thrown off by a person in an unfamiliar skin when the first couple of videos dropped. Naturally, it turned out to just be Scar in a fresh getup. By the power of the Infinity Portal, Scar is now a wizard, and a dang good one with his powerful spell of a snail. Well, it sure is an upgrade from the snail they built in Season 6.
Look at that wizard beard. I should get some beard oil for that. But, the Infinity Portal did not give me a pair of pants.
Now, if he'd just chosen to play a cleric or a paladin instead, he wouldn't have had such a hard time building it, because the whole time the workplace was being invaded by a progressively greater amount of zombies. This was later revealed as Grian's doing. He lucked out on a zombie spawner, and the first thing that came to mind was to channel its entire output towards his neighbor.
Scar, run! He's fighting them. He hasn't even figured out that there's something going on.
Weird, yeah, so weird. Let's see, yeah. So weird.
Having now earned the name of the Jungle Bandit, he promised to turn the spawner from just an experience into more of an experience farm, and to let Scar use it one of these days. Together with Professor Beak, Grian then found a home in a cliffside that he cut a house into.
Now, I'm not exactly finished or happy with it, but I want to transform using this vague hobbit-hole-y kind of design. I want to transform this whole U-shape that I've got here.
And finally there's Mumbo, who in a startling coincidence built a very similar house, but it was either that, a giant geometry diagram, or a 300 block wide crater, so the server can breathe a sigh of relief. For now. After raiding his way through villages, digging up diamonds, and remembering quite how burdensome the early game is, he hints at plans for a futuristic, modern but ruins-themed base project. For now, he's content to hobbit it up inside his jungle hill, setting up storage, failing at enchanting, and trying to stop creepers from blowing up the things he values most.
And by that, I mean the slime balls. A creeper blew up my balls.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Season 7 Hype. My name has been Pixel Riffs, our writer is LoyXP, and we do hope you've enjoyed this light-hearted look at day 1 of the Hermitcraft server. If you want to hear more from us, our personal channels are linked in the end screen, along with the latest episodes of whatever we've been doing lately. We'll be back next Sunday with a recap of the first week, assuming the server survives that long. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.